All right, thank you for tuning in to another episode recording here on a Sunday. A lot of stuff to cover, actually. As football gets closer, this is the first Sunday where they're showing the best games of 2021. So I just turned on the TV and I just heard, the sounds of football, and it did something to my spirit. Congratulations to my guy Elvis and his beautiful wife Jessica. Congratulations to them on their wedding, their nuptials, their business contract that they just signed. Uh, Lifetime deal. Both have player options. Okay. Every year of the deal, have player option every year of the deal. No trade kickers. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. My content got flagged yesterday. I don't know. They said that I did. It was just some weird countries I couldn't show my content, but it was weird. The last video I did yesterday. But all right, let's get into it. So it says here the top story is the Browns will pursue a backup to Jacoby Brissett if Deshaun Watson is suspended for a lengthy period of time. I think that's what's going to happen. He said they plan to sign a backup, sign, not trade, sign. So I'm guessing if it's going to be sign a backup, the only guys that are really out there in the backup market of real quality are Cam Newton and Colin Kaepernick. Colin hasn't played in, Jesus, I think it's going on 4 years now. So I'm guessing this might be a Cam Newton landing spot. I'm guessing Deshaun Watson, there's no way that they can allow him to play this year. I don't see it. Now, I've been surprised by what the NFL has done before, but I just don't see how it's possible. So I'm guessing they're going to bring in a quarterback. My guess is that it's Cam Newton. And this is a loaded roster. Cam was on the Pivot podcast. Shout out to them. They've had some good interviews. The one with Mike Tomlin was fabulous. But they had Cam Newton on, and I believe it was Channing Crowder, went at him and said that you're not Cam Newton anymore, that guy. You're an old Cam Newton. And Cam Newton feels he can go back to the Cam Newton of old, that what he's shown on the football field the past couple of years is not indicative into who he's going to be. My theory on it is he makes some good points about the New England time, how they essentially ran the same offense in New England that they had always run with Tom Brady, just adding in some QB keepers. And that offense is one of the more difficult offenses in the league to run. There's been a lot of receivers that's gone to New England and struggled. The receivers, usually the receivers, they pick it up quickly. Not the quarterbacks, the receivers, because it's a read and react offense, right? So he said that he was still learning the plays, learning where receivers are going to be all the way up to the end of the season. So the question that you would have is, if Cam can get back to the Cam of old, isn't that same scenario going to happen again? Because he's signing so late in the process. But I think that the Cleveland offense is not as integral as the Patriots offense. So he would have some success there. They have a better offensive line, better weapons, focus on the run game. So I think it could work. I think it could work there. They say they're not interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. I probably wouldn't be interested in that too. They've traded a lot of draft assets as it is for Deshaun Watson. It's like you can't just keep on throwing things out of the cupboard, especially for a one-year rental. So I wouldn't do it. I understand this. It says her ruling is expected the week of July 25th, and today is the 17th. So what are they saying, next week? Yeah, next week. That's tough. That's tough. Because that's the week that training camp starts. So he pretty much would have a whole training camp to learn an offense, but he doesn't have to start the first couple of days in games, and then just allow him to gradually learn it. So there you go. With that, that's my thoughts on that. Mike Zimmer didn't like Kirk Cousins in his show. Ooh, who likes Kirk Cousins? I remember seeing like video of the receiver Thielen screaming at him, Diggs screaming at him, Justin Jefferson being frustrated with him. Who likes Kirk Cousins? It seems like he's a stubborn guy. It's hard to put a leash on a dog after you put a crown on his head. Shout out to my man Tyrion Lannister. And it's hard to put him in check after you've paid him like he's an elite quarterback when you guaranteed contracts for him. You went out of your way to get this guy. So you can't, it's almost like a Kyrie Irving situation. You know, he's refused to get vaccinated. He's refused to do certain things. He's always talked about things in an esoteric way that, hey, like, listen, y'all can't understand on my plane of thinking. So, I mean, I don't think he's been the lightning rod for criticism as Aaron Rodgers and Kyrie Irving because he's just not that good. So nobody really cares. Everybody knows when Kirk Cousins gets to the playoffs, you know what's going to happen. So I don't think, the reason why people beat up on Kyrie and Aaron Rodgers so much is that they're good and you have to see them, you have to deal with their talent. Like in the NBA, for example, Jonathan Isaacs, he espouses, he didn't get vaccinated, espouses the only player not to kneel. I think for the anthem in the bubble, he's far to the right, but nobody really talks about him because he's not good enough to talk about, So I think that's the thing with Kirk Cousins. I would have moved off of him this offseason. It didn't look like there was a hot market to trade him. They probably missed their market last year, but I would have moved off of him. They've had opportunities to bring quarterbacks in, and they've passed, and he's obviously not the guy. Maybe you give it one more year. A lot of people are hot on the Vikings this year. They attacked Mike Zimmer, thought he was old, out of touch. They're bringing in Kevin O'Connell from the Rams system, which is a similar system to what they were running previously, because the system that they were running, Kubiak, is a lot of play action. Kubiak, Shanahan, it's in a similar tree. So maybe there's not going to be as much of a learning curve as I think there's been for other quarterbacks. But Kirk Cousins, I've never really felt it with him either. Justin Jefferson said Devontae Adams is best receiver in the league right now. I think that it's probably Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill, just because you have to put Hill in there because of his speed and what he does to a defense, the way that you have to check him, the way the defense has to account for him every play. So, but I agree with that. Justin Jefferson could definitely be there. Diggs. What was I just thinking about? Justin Jefferson, Diggs, Adams, Hill. That's a good core. So a lot of young boys on the come up. So we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and leave. California sports betting, is this going to happen? Legalize gambling. Fight to land is two proposition. The former favors the tribes. If it passes, it will allow online wagering only at privately owned corporations. Yeah. Opens the floodgates. The thing, any sportsbook that does business must give a significant taste to tribes. The price of license could be per king $100 million. That estimated amount, still, that's peanuts in the gram. The most popular state in the country could generate billions in revenue. He claimed that promised sovereignty over gambling. This thing that the tribe, this brings it into politics more than sports, but they claim that they have been promised sovereignty over gambling in California. California is currently being buried under a whole gluttony, under the glut of a bunch of issues, whether it's homelessness, whether it's crumbling infrastructure, traffic has been a big problem, and these finances that can come from gambling, the revenue, the taxable revenue that can come from gambling can solve a lot of it. So I think the taboo part is out. Like, everybody's okay with sports gambling now. Is just this roadblock. Hopefully Um, hopefully it passes, but I have a chance to cast a ballot. But Canada wants to stay with the times and capture billions that otherwise are wagered legally. The voters will embrace both Proposition 26 and 27. It would be a different fight if we were. Yeah, I got to read up on this. I hate these. I hate these propositions in the state of California that makes people have to do so much research. Isn't that what the elected officials are? Shouldn't it be just very plain and easy? But I think they need to open the floodgates for sports gambling. I think that you can pay the tribes a fee, um, and if there is lost revenue from people attending their casinos, then that's fine. But I've never heard of someone saying, "Hey, I want to go to a casino. No, I'm just going to bet online with Bovada." Like those two things are not congruous. I don't think it's going to stop anyone from going to a casino. If you're going to casinos, you're going to play the slots, you're eating a buffet, you're doing all that good stuff. I don't think online sports gambling is going to do it, but maybe they think it's a fix. And if you can get your fix somewhere else legally, then you're going to do it that way. If there's lost revenue, they can take care of it, but people have to be smarter. So hopefully it gets passed. Sports gambling is the wave of the future. There's so many people covering it. Cam Smith, the US Open, it finished. Oh, damn. Yeah, I can't act like I care about this. The British Open. I think it's the British Open. I don't know. I don't give a damn. LeBron lights up the Drew League. Kyrie no shows. Kyrie no shows. you know, the Nets, man. I think I'm done talking. I'm gonna put a moratorium on myself to stop talking about it after today, and let me see if I can. But the idea that you're just gonna bring the whole gang back and try to talk through it with these guys is absolutely insane. They can't be on the team next year. You have to move on. It's over. You need to take some blame. They need to take some blame. Whatever. It's over. It's time to move forward. Yeah, you're not going to get full market value for two guys because they ruined their name. And part of that is your fault. That you let this team, these two guys, run roughshod over you from the very beginning, whether it's getting rid of Kenny Atkinson, whether it's bringing in DeAndre Jordan and sending out Jared Allen. It's their fault. You've pulled the rabbit out of the hat before with Sean Marks. Empower him again to do that, but to hold this line and we want these players in this saga, y'all need to just move yourselves far away from that as possible. Get reasonable offers for both of these guys and move them. I think that they're asking for 2 first-round picks out of the Lakers. That's not going to happen when the Lakers are the only people bidding. And this is the reason why Kyrie no shows. That's what he does. I don't know how you think that he's going to come in next year and be on his best behavior. He's probably going to be incentivized to flame the place. He's cool with playing half the games and instead of making 38 million, make 19 million. He's cool with that. Are you? So I don't understand this idea that we're bringing these guys back and we're holding the line. There's no line to hold. Every day you lose more leverage. You lost leverage in DeAndre Ayton. You can't get him back in the trade. They wanted no parts of DeAndre Ayton. I don't understand it. They just don't value centers. Okay, all right. So Summer League last day, usually after the first week of Summer League, it's time to go. Vegas is just tough on your body, tough on the mind, tough on your spirit. When you're older, it's almost like, adult Disneyland, but after a while, you go on all the rides, you're ready to go. So there was a part in my life where I could do 5 days in Vegas. Like 3 days is asking a lot now. So, but yeah, if you're gonna go next year, go early. So yeah, we'll go ahead and leave it there. The Jags tape should come out. Some Game of Thrones content should come out either today or tomorrow. I'm gonna break down the Patriots and the Vikings. The Patriots, Vikings, and the Lions from my man, our dog. Already got him taken care of. So let me finish off Michael Walker Jr., holla at my man Tone Loc a little bit. But all right. Thank you guys for watching. The game is game. All right. Thank you for watching this clip. Do me a favor. Push the button. Hit subscribe. Come on, man. Push it.
Go everybody up! Push the goddamn button! Push the goddamn button! You heard what she said.
Man, do what's right. You heard her. Push the button. The game is game.
So what's up, man? What's up with you otherwise, you know? The game is a game. Always.